We've all heard the story of the hare and the tortoise and how slow and steady wins the race. Of course, mostly we don't believe it, and we tend to try to be the hare. Rushing here, rushing there, being busy all the time, but mostly pretty inconsistent. The moral of the story, of course, and what the tortoise understood, was that consistency is the key to making solid and regular progress. And this is the concept we're going to look at today for a few short minutes. So Jim Collins is a business author that has penned a few well-known books such as Good to Great and Built to Last. One of his lesser-known books is called Great by Choice, and in it he explores the concept of the 20-mile march. And if you haven't read it, no problem, I'm going to give you the 60-second version now. So the 20-mile march is an analogy used to describe the difference in strategy between the explorers Amundsen and Scott in their race to the South Pole in 1911. So one team made it to their destination on time and as planned, while the other team was a month late and ultimately died on the way home. And the difference in the approach was that the Amundsen team had prepared very carefully for the trip and approached the journey at a steady pace, averaging 20 miles each and every day. Their methodical, disciplined, consistent approach was to march 20 miles each day, no matter how good or bad the weather and conditions were. On bad days, this was a real challenge, battling through difficult conditions, and on good days it required the self-imposed constraint to not go any further. In contrast, the Scott team travelled 40 miles when the weather allowed for it, but this meant they often overextended themselves and were unprepared for difficult conditions. So every day they held camp for bad weather or to rest up. They lost any additional ground made and more. So the 20-mile march concept is over 100 years old, but it teaches so many things. The value of patience, of planning, of knowing your environment, but above all, the lesson of consistency. And the 20-mile march can be applied at an individual level or at a wider team or business level. The key question is, what is the one thing to do day in, day out, week in, week out, that will ensure the goal is reached? However you wish to apply the concept in your business, it will require these 7 things. So first up, clear performance markers. These are regular milestones to measure progress against the overall goal. So self-imposed constraints, so that burnout doesn't occur. Appropriate goals. Don't set goals that aren't relevant to your specific situation or tied to your overall objectives. And then within your control. So nothing that can be overly impacted by circumstances that are outside of your control. Number 5 is a proper time frame. So long enough to manage, but short enough to really have teeth. Number 6, internally imposed, so not dictated by some other external force. And then last but not least, consistency. So consistent achievement is the critical ingredient. I hope you can get some understanding of how the marching concept may apply in your business. It's about showing up consistently, pushing through even when it is difficult, and not giving up on the plan. So good luck on your 20-mile march.